Alright, so this is my review of Gundam Universe GU-26 Shining Gundam, and I recently did a review of the Master Gundam GU-19, and if you saw that review, yeah, generally a very nice figure, and let's see if this one does as well. So let's get right into the review. This is from the G Gundam series, and the Gundam Universe line is obviously a budget kind of line. The figure's around 20, 25 bucks, and from the Master Gundam at least, 100% worth it. So these figures are great, and I could tell you right now that this figure is pretty good. Just minor little issues, but let's get right to the review. So in terms of aesthetics, you just put him in a standing pose first. Very clean, and he has a very nice matte finish. And just let me get him standing in a neutral pose. So he does have a very clean kind of matte finish going throughout, and already much nicer than the Master Gundam in my opinion. Master Gundam, while great, he did have a little bit of a more plasticky look, a little glossy, but this figure is matte throughout, and it looks great. So that looks great, first of all. Lines are very clean. I can't really see any paint defects or anything like that. Even the paint on his face, very clean. Lines are extremely well done. Even the eyes, very clean. And especially on more budget lines, if you've seen Marvel Legends and others, you could tell they've had some issues with kind of like paint cleanliness in general, especially with like eyes and things like that. So this is a $20 line. They did pretty well. So green on his chest, no bleeding, nothing. Very clean color separation throughout. Nice color mixing in general. Everything looks nice. And he has a very nice off-white kind of coloration to him. So they didn't just use some stark white plastic, and I'm glad they didn't, because in the show, he's not really pure white. Like, he's always kind of like fighting, things like that. And it looks like he's right out of the show. So, very nice. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, yeah, add a black wash to him. And usually that's reserved for model kits and things like that. I'm just going to take these out. Get to that in a second. Yeah, you could really take him to the next level with a simple, very simple black wash. And yeah, definitely do that if you're in the mood for it. It's safe, you're not going to mess up anything. So take him to the next level. Yeah, so in terms of aesthetics, and another thing that I noticed is, it looks like this is a newer figure than the Master Gundam, so I don't really see any kind of like plastic nub marks like hanging anywhere, which is excellent. Very, very clean look. So that's great. In terms of aesthetics, and especially considering I got him for 25 bucks, 5 out of 5, easily. I can't really see anything to complain about. He looks great, and if you could even see on the camera, look at how that green picks up in the light on his chest. That looks amazing. It's like an emerald shining metallic green. That's crazy for a $25 figure. So, gets easy 5 out of 5 for aesthetics. Just a quick height measurement. Let's see how tall he is. Let's say he's about 6 inches square. So pretty much exactly 6 inches. Yeah, pretty much the same as Master Gundam. And finally, let's just get his weight into. Guessing he's heavy, he feels great in the hand. Some people don't care, but for me it's a big thing. I like heavy figures. A little bit more lightweight than Master Gundam, obviously, because Master Gundam has those gigantic wings. So he's 4 ounces, almost exact, 3.99, so still heavy. In terms of articulation, let's just get right into it. Much of it, I suspect, will be the same as Master Gundam. So head is on a ball joint. Could look down that much. Could look up pretty well. So you got that. Diaphragm, I'm just going to take this kind of Corlander out. We'll get to that in a second too. So diaphragm, you get about that much. It does swivel too. And interesting thing is I didn't have to warm up the Shining Gundam at all. So Master Gundam I had to warm up and use oil. Didn't have to do any of that for the Shining Gundam, so that's great. Okay, one finicky thing. This thing keeps coming off, not a big deal. It's kind of like his butt plate or whatever that is. Okay. Yeah, so good movement on the diaphragm. Good enough for a $20 figure. Obviously a bit limited, so. No swivel at the waist, none of that. That's all you're going to get, so keep that in mind. And looking at his arms. Arms go straight out like that. Very nice. Overall, a lot smoother than the Master Gundam. So arms go straight out. Obviously hindered by the shoulder a bit, but they are on a butterfly joint too. And see how smooth that is? If you saw a Master Gundam review, yeah, very squeaky. Elbows are on a double joint, so that is insane. For a $25 figure that looks this clean with articulation like that, that's just, for me, that's a steal. So priced fairly, and yeah, look at that. That's crazy articulation in terms of just a $25 figure that looks this good. Okay. Whoops. All right. So looking at his legs, the skirt pieces do move out of the way. Be careful with these. Might want to oil those. I'd suggest you do. And in general, the legs go up about that high. So just like the Master Gundam, they're on a ball joint. You can see that there. Okay, it works. And they're on a drop down too. So you do get that. Knees, unlike the Master Gundam, very smooth. Still look a little ugly. Like, I think they could do better than that. Breaks up the sculpt a little bit, very unnatural. So not the best in terms of the knees. Gotta figure something out with that. Ankles, just like the Master Gundam, are on a ball joint connected to the calf and to the foot. So you get great articulation out of that. Be careful if yours is a little stiff. Mine's fine. Don't be afraid to heat it up with some hot water. Use sewing oil, right? Get those very cheap. They do absolutely nothing to your plastics. Just get some good quality sewing oil. Very gentle on the plastics, and they lubricate very well. So yeah, you do get a very generous rocker. You can do stances, no problem. Double ball joint works very well for the ankles, so you get all you need out of that. Legs go back about that far. Okay, can't really see myself using that too much, but I'm sure it's going to come in handy. Yeah, and that's about it. So with the drop, let's see how far he gets with the drop down. Let me just get this guy out for a second. That was a tight drop down. Okay, it's good now. All right, so with the drop down, a little bit better. I'm not going to push it too hard. Be careful with these skirt pieces. Could potentially break. Who knows, right? So it's just thin plastic. Okay, yeah, and just put it back up. So pretty good for articulation. And obviously the true test of articulation, just let's see how easily you can put him in a stance. And at the beginning of the video, you kind of already saw he was in one. So just put him in a boxing stance. And you can really tell like how good a figure's articulation is just by how well you could put him in a very basic kind of, I don't even know what this stance is called. I guess a southpaw stance. I'm sure someone could correct me on that or whatever. So it's as good as I can get behind a camera. That looks insane. That looks excellent for a G Gundam figure, a very cliche pose. He looks great. Articulation gets a 4 out of 5 easily. Only point I'm taking off is for the knees. Other than that, he's great. So no tightness, unlike the Master Gundam. So very good quality plastic too. Nothing feels like it's going to break. Excellent matte finish. So easy 4 out of 5 for articulation. Okay, in terms of accessories, let's get right into that. So I guess this counts as an accessory, core lander. And I'll just kind of show you how you use all this. So this goes in very easily into his back. Again, if you ever have trouble plugging in your accessories or whatever, use sewing oil or hot water or both. Don't break your figures. So many breakages I see on the internet and things like that could have been avoided with just a little bit of sewing oil. So they're lifesavers for collectors. So do yourself a favor, buy a cheap bottle of sewing oil. I bought a huge one on eBay. It's been with me for about 3 years. So silicone shock oil is another one that works. You can use that too. I think it's a little bit more expensive, but barely. Whatever works. But I know tried and tested sewing oil is great for action figures. So in terms of accessories, yeah, you get the core lander. Goes right into his back. You do get 2 beam sabers. So let me just put him back here so you can see. So they come as handles, right? And let me just show you what they look like with the actual saber attachment. They just peg right in easily. There's that one. And let's get the bigger one. And you get a huge one too. So that looks great. You get a shining finger. You only get one because I'm pretty sure in the show Domon could only, spoilers, but he could only use one shining finger at a time before he got the burning Gundam and got more training and all that. So only one. I don't think he ever had double shining fingers. Could be wrong. It's been probably like 10 years since I saw that show. Well, way more than 10 years. All right, so you do get a little flight stand attachment. I'm not really sure how that's used. I guess it plugs in somewhere, but if you have any decent stand, I don't think you'll ever really need this, but you do get it. Okay, you do get a ultra mode or super mode face, and let's try putting that in right now. So let's take his head off. Be careful with the antennas. So don't let your hand jerk up and just snap those right off. Could easily happen. So faceplate unpegs very easily. Just put the super mode head on, faceplate on, and that looks pretty damn good. That looks great. So again, you could use a black wash, but it's good for a $20 figure. And just put it right back on. That's another thing. Everything pegs on and off very easily on him, so that's great. And you do get alternate hands to hold the sabers, obligatory. So you can dual wield. So that's great. You do get those. Okay. Now I just want to show you a nice, cool feature. So just take these blades out. He does come with a holder for the blades, and I'll show you how to get them in because they're a little finicky. The thick part should be facing back. So let me just put that in first. You just kind of get his arm up. That's it. Just slide it right in. Now the smaller one's a little bit kind of finicky. In order for it to stick, you see that kind of thicker piece? Just let it wedge into the holster a little bit and then it should be good. See? That won't go anywhere now. That's how you want it to be held in. So, and just finagle it, make it look more even, things like that. And that's about it. Okay, now in terms of accessories, these arm attachments, they do come out. And a very cool feature is, take a look, if you want them to go super mode, this little thing is like a lever. So just roll it up like that and plug it back into his hand. Okay, and just do the same for the other hand. Very nice design, solid construction, so it doesn't feel flimsy like NECA accessories. And just get that in also. Okay, and finally, just to show you what his actual shining finger would look like, you just plug that hand in. Okay, so there it is with the shining finger. And let's put him in a pose too, why not? So let's see what we can do here. Just get his hands out like that. Coming forward. Now, one thing I noticed is, yeah, with the super mode head, you can't really turn his head as much, but Not a big deal. Yeah, so looks great. And one thing is, I wish they had these little kind of shin pieces or calf pieces be able to come out too. That's a shame because in the show, for super mode, they do come out, and that's kind of like a huge part of why super mode looks so badass. So those flaps, I wish they came out. Maybe a little gold paint underneath there, but yeah, I guess cost is an issue there. So accessories, 4 out of 5. Why? Only because I wish he came with leg attachments. That would have been sick. Other than that, what else? Maybe some karate chopping hands. Why? Because it's a martial arts anime. So would have been nice. But other than that, yeah, 4 out of 5. Great accessories. I'm very happy for $25. In terms of overall value, easy 5 out of 5. This is probably one of my most satisfying buys of 2023, aside from the RoboCop, because I'm a RoboCop fanatic. Easily 5 out of 5. So great value. You get a lot of accessories for 25 bucks and excellent quality. I was surprised by how premium these things feel in the hand. Matte finish, heavy, and excellent articulation considering the price. And for people who say like you can't get good articulation out of a $20 figure, yeah, that's pretty damn good in my opinion. So overall value 5 out of 5. Get this guy because I suspect the prices are going to go up. People like Gundam, especially G Gundam is one of the unique ones, in my opinion, the best. So go get him. He's a great figure. And finally, just to wrap this up, just some scaling. And let's move the accessories out of the way. And let's put him back in a neutral pose. Okay, first, let's get him up against Master Gundam, the obvious. And yeah, those look great next to each other. So probably what you want to have displayed. Master Gundam with his worthless pupil Domon. And yeah, those look great. So, and just because I have her out, Loose Collectors, Vampirella. She's 6.5 inches. Great figures. Definitely has a little bit of height on him. What else do I have here? So, still got Trunks out. Around 5.6 inches or something. So, and what else? I still have Sylvanas out. So, yeah, the American figures like the NECAs and stuff will always have a little size on them. But yeah, he's pretty big, as you can obviously see. Final rating. Yeah, let's just do a quick rundown. Articulation. Well, with aesthetics, easily 5 out of 5. He looks great. Can't complain for 25 bucks. Clean lines, no nub marks, unlike Master Gundam. 5 out of 5 there. In terms of articulation, overall engineering, 4 out of 5. He lost a point on the knees. Other than that, he's pretty great. So 4 out of 5 for articulation. Accessories, 4 out of 5 only because, yeah, some karate chopping hands or martial arts hands would have been nice. Maybe some opening things on the leg flaps would have been even better. 4 out of 5 there. Overall value, 5 out of 5. Yes, so for 25 bucks, he's excellent. You won't be disappointed. You get everything you need. Especially if you like the Shining Gundam, one of my favorite Gundams, don't miss this one. Especially if you like action figures more than the model kits, which I do. Looking at all that with my weighted average, more preference to articulation and aesthetics, just because value and things like that are more subjective based on what you're comfortable paying. He gets a 4.45. You could say 4.5 out of 5. So excellent figures. I'm definitely going to buy more Gundam Universe figures because they're pretty good. So yeah, that's it. Take care.